Helecyne Shenrow, a 7th level elf wizard who spends her time performing research as a sage. Born on the 16th of Marpanoth in 878, the year of Fiend's Rising, Helecyne was born in Larith, the city of the Wood Elves in Elysius. From a young age she had an interest in the mystic arts and those who used them. She learned the basics of manipulating the weave from an old scholar in her city, who allowed her access to his scrolls for additional research. It was through her teacher's many tomes that Helecyne learnt of the mad mages of Begorn that existed on the Shielded Islands centuries ago. Unfortunately for Helecyne, her teacher didn't have many books or other sources of information on this topic. Being that they are in the country of Elysius, Helecyne's library was based more on the history of magic in their own place of birth, instead of that of other countries. This didn't dissuade Helecyne though, as she began to perform her own research into the topic, much to Helecyne's delight. The old sage encouraged the young elf to follow in his footsteps as a sage, but to find her own interests and paths. Despite knowing that it would one day take her away from her home, Helecyne worked hard to compile what information she could on the mad mages of Begorn. By the turn of Helecyne's first century of age, she had scored most of what information there was on the mad mages in Larith. During this time, she had become a capable mage in her own right, working with other mages in her home city to create new magics for themselves. Her focus remained on expanding and documenting the known knowledge that her people held, on what had become her speciality. Helecyne was confident that other countries held magics of their own that could benefit Larith, especially the ruins of where the mad mages once lived. At the age of 102, Helecyne left Elysius and made for the Shielded Islands. She had made an agreement with her peers to go and do fieldwork for her studies. She would examine and document what she learned, and return in time to share her findings, in the hopes of expanding the collection of knowledge stored within her home city. Upon arriving in Karnag, Helecyne was able to find herself a small home and a job working as a scribe in the local courts. This paid a modest wage and granted her the time to expand on her research. Much to the elf's joy, there was far more information available to her in Karnag, and she was quickly able to expand on her knowledge base. This joy wasn't to last, however, as her wages did not grant her the funds to be able to further her research by that much. Her job as a scribe gave her enough to live comfortably, but she lacked the funds to pay for field trips out of the city or to libraries of higher status. There were better paid positions for capable mages available, but most required too much time to allow Helecyne to continue her research. That was until the Oaken Shields Guild opened. Despite the dangers of adventuring, Helecyne jumped at the chance to join, as the better pay and flexible work granted her far more opportunities to continue her research. Helecyne is a 7th level wizard whose expertise is in divination magic, though since becoming an adventurer she has expanded her spells somewhat for handling more dangerous situations. She uses a small, simple dagger as her arcane focus, and keeps her spellbook to hand. Being a sage, she carries a scholar's bag for her research, though has gathered other useful tools for adventuring since joining the Oaken Shields Guild. Despite her education, Helecyne can only speak Common and Elvish, though as an elf she does have some additional weapon proficiencies, such as longsword and longbow. On top of additional weapon proficiencies, Helecyne's elvish ancestry means she has abilities such as trance and dark vision. These mean she can't be put to sleep by magic, and meditates instead of needing to sleep. Being specifically a wood elf, she has the Mask of the Wild feature, allowing her to attempt to hide even when only lightly obscured from other creatures' vision. Additionally, Helecyne has the Wood Elf magic feat, giving her a Druid cantrip, as well as the Long Stride and Pass Without a Trace spells, which can be cast without using a spell slot. With a focus on divination magic, Helecyne can copy divination spells into her spellbook with more ease than other spells. She can also use her portent feature to glimpse the future on some of her actions, and her expertise in divination means she doesn't have to expend as much effort to cast divination spells. When she first left Elysius, Helecyne's spells were mostly divination magic. Since joining the Oaken Shields, however, she has expanded her list to include a wider variety of magic. She has cantrips such as Mending, Guidance and Fireball, and those spells up to level 4. With her focus on divination, Helecyne has spells such as Identify, Guiding Hand, Locate Creature and more. Since expanding her spell list, she's learned spells from schools of magic such as Evocation, Abjuration and Conjuration. This means Helecyne's range of spells available for different occasions such as Fireball, Dispel Magic and Misty Step. With her formal tutelage in Magecraft and her varied array of spells, Helecyne has become a skilled wizard that can work across a range of jobs. Her research and interest in solving mysteries means she is also a source of information and capable of solving more problems than simply bashing heads together. When combat is required, Helecyne prefers to stay out of reach and use her knowledge of creatures and their weaknesses to plan out her use of spells. However, she has little ability for the martial combat and so struggles when opponents get close to her or is caught in situations requiring physical strength. She is also easily distracted by the lure of new information, which equally intelligent folks can take advantage of. Since joining the Oaken Shields Guild, Helecyne has been able to make significantly better progress in her research. The greater pay has allowed her access to more libraries and places of knowledge. Additionally, she has made a few small field trips to other cities to meet historians and other folks with knowledge on the mad mages of old. She regularly compiles updates of what she's learned and sends them back to her peers in Larith. Helecyne has yet to venture into Begorn Forest to seek the runes themselves, as many old magics lay dormant, making it a dangerous trip. Despite this, Helecyne still plans to travel there someday. In the meantime, Helecyne continues to pick up a variety of work at the guild. She prefers to take jobs that require research and critical thinking over tasks of combat and raw power, though will take on most types of work when required. She may not be the most powerful mage in the guild, but her knowledge and versatility make her more popular to work with than some of the other magic users. While becoming an adventurer was never part of her goals, Helecyne has grown to enjoy certain aspects of it and is quite content to continue adventuring to support herself and her research. Thanks for watching the video. If you want to see more content like this, then hit that subscribe button. A special thanks to all my Ko-Fi members for supporting me. If you want to see sneak peeks or get early access to my videos, then check out my Ko-Fi memberships linked below. You'll also see a link to my Discord, Twitch and Blue Sky if you want to follow me on the other platforms too.